This is a swatch. I'm going to show you how I do the necks on crew neck sweaters, or round neck or crew neck, whatever you want to call it, on sweaters and cardigans. And instead of casting I've done this little swatch, just a few garter stitch to start off with down here to stop it from curling so much, and then I've done the rib as if this was for the neck here, and a few rows of waste yarn. Instead of casting the stitches off along the top, I've just added a few rows of waste yarn, and I'm going to show you how I do this neck, because you have to fold it like this and then stitch it down. So I will show you how I do this. Now I've used I'll use a different colour yarn so that the stitches stand out better. Show you what I'm doing. And I put a little knot in the end of this. And to start off with, we're going to fold this in half. And I hope my phone, what I'm using to video this, it does go in and out a little bit when there's a lot of movement, so you get a little bit blurriness. So I'm sorry if that happens. I haven't anything else to do it with. But you pick the end stitch, the last stitch that you did on the rib, and pick the first stitch up where you started from the stocking stitch, and you knit those two stitches together. I'll leave a little end there because it's not to stay, it's to come out afterwards. And then you take the next stitch and you make sure you line it up with the line. That's the knit stitch and the purl stitch. You have to line it up in the right place, otherwise you'll get a twisted rib. The neck will be twisted, I should say, really. So you sew this, make sure you sew it very loose, so that there's going to be plenty give when it's finished. I have to find the stitch down here for. And that's what you do all the way along the row. Make sure you're picking the right stitches, because you don't want the neck to actually be twisted when it's finished. It's fairly simple. I used to have a knit machine a lot of years ago, and I used to do a lot of cardigans and sweaters for my kids when they were little, and this was how I used to do the necks on them, because it was usually very fine wool that I used on the knitting machine, so these kind of necks were best. And I'll just pause this until I get to the end. Right, so I finished this to the end. Only just had enough. I had to tighten up a little bit at the end to get to this last little bit of yarn. But when you're doing the proper neck, make sure you do leave enough yarn to get all the way across. But this is just a swatch, so it's not trouble. So I've knitted that, and you can see there's a lot of stretch in it. And when you're finished, you just pull out the waste yarn, and there all your stitches are picked up there, and well, you're using the same colour yarn to sew it up with is what the neck's made out, so you won't see like the different colours. I've just done this so you can see how the stitches, and on the other side, and just stretch it. There's plenty of stretch there. If you were doing a jumper, even for a baby, it would go over its head probably without having to put any buttons down the back or on the shoulders. And that's my tip for today. And if you like it, please put a like, and you can subscribe if you'd like to see anything else that I come up with.